poor Medusa, slain only to find her head on the breastplate of the very goddess who ruined her life. She deserves so much better.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leanna if you're new, and welcome to episode 6 of Makeup in Mythology, a series I'm doing on my channel where I do my makeup and also tell you an ancient myth. Last time we covered Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, war, and also handicraft, and specifically what happens when people get on her bad side. This week I thought we would talk about the hero Perseus and also the deed for which he is most famous, which is killing the gorgon Medusa, who had snakes for hair and whose gaze could turn people into stone. And I also want to talk a little bit about Medusa herself because I think it would be interesting. I'm also wearing a snake necklace today in honor of Medusa. Let's get a little closer. Okay, so Perseus was born to Zeus, the god of the sky, and Danae, a mortal princess who was locked in a tower by her father because it was prophesied that her son would overthrow him. So he was like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna lock you in a tower so that she doesn't get pregnant at all. But Zeus was like, haha, ooh, a mysterious maiden in a tower. Let's go check it out. And so he visited her as a ray of sunshine and impregnated her as a ray of sunshine. She must have been so freaking confused. And so she became pregnant with Perseus. When Danae's father, Acrisius, heard of this, he didn't want to kill them because, it's his daughter and grandson. So instead, he had them sent out to sea in a floating chest, which, should kill them, but also doesn't weigh on his conscience too much. And as you may be able to guess, Danae and her son survived, and they landed on the beach of an island where a fisherman named Dictys took them in with him and his wife, and they decided that they would care for Danae and Perseus and treat Perseus like their own son, because they themselves were childless. And they really wanted a kid, so, literally one washed up on shore for them. So it was there that Perseus grew to manhood, and Danae did not lose her beauty as she aged. Eventually, Dictys's brother, the tyrant king Polydectes, wanted Danae as his wife. But, he definitely saw Perseus as an obstacle to his plans. He was like, I want the booty, but I don't want to be a stepdad. So he hatched a brilliant, genius plan and announced that he was going to marry another woman, which meant that everyone had to present him with a gift. And at this gift-giving ceremony, Perseus was the only person there who didn't have anything to give the king. So he was like, okay, I'll bring you back the head of Medusa, why not? And the king Polydectes was pleased, because he knew that Medusa would turn any man who looked into her eyes into stone. And he was like, cool. So either he's going to get rid of himself for me, or he's going to come back and I'm going to have, a really nice prize. So win-win situation for Polydectes. So Perseus left and went to the oracle Delphi to learn where he could find the Gorgons, which is what Medusa was. She was a Gorgon. On his quest, he ran into Hermes, the messenger god, and Hermes told him that he must acquire some equipment from the Stygian nymphs: flying sandals, a magic wallet, and a helmet of invisibility. And these items would be absolutely essential for his success. But the only ones who knew the whereabouts of the nymphs were 3 women called the Grey Eye, which means 3 gray women. These women shared 1 eye and 1 tooth. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? You'll recall in the Disney movie Hercules that there were 3 creepy old ladies who shared 1 eye, and those were the Fates in the movie. Well, the Grey Eye are actually quite different from the Fates. There were a lot of sets of 3 in Greek mythology, I noticed. Like Cerberus, the guardian of the underworld, had 3 heads. I wonder if that number had some sort of significance to the ancient Greeks. But anyway, the Grey Eye, although they sound kind of creepy, were actually supposed to be quite beautiful. They were described as fair-faced and swan-like, but they just had gray hair, and also only had 1 eye and 1 tooth among them. So Hermes guided Perseus to them, and while one of the women was passing her eye to her sister, Perseus took the eye. He just grabbed it. Honestly, what a bully. So rude. He didn't even try asking them first. So anyway, to get their eye back, they told him where the Stygian nymphs lived. And Hermes took him there. And there they were able to get the sandals, the wallet, and the helmet. And then Hermes gave him a very sharp tool called a sickle, which is a very short semicircular farming blade for him to sever Medusa's head with. So now he has all the materials. Now I think this is a good point to talk a little bit about Medusa. According to Hesiod's Theogony, she was one of 3 Gorgon sisters born to the primordial sea gods, Phorcys and Keto. Originally, according to Homer, there was only 1 Gorgon, which was Medusa, but Hesiod increased it to 3, and a lot of sources say that Medusa was the only mortal one, but I could not find out why. Guess it is just what it is. The Roman author Ovid actually describes Medusa as a beautiful mortal maiden who was taken advantage of by Poseidon in the temple of Athena. And this sacrilege made Athena very, very angry, so she punished Medusa by turning her hair into snakes and making her face so horrible to look at that whoever did
head would turn into stone. I actually feel so bad for her, and I hate how she's painted as the bad guy and the monster, even though she didn't do anything. She didn't even do anything. Anyway, back to Perseus. Athena helped him and told him how he could distinguish the 3 gorgons, out of which Medusa was the only one who could be killed, for she was mortal, and also gave Perseus a very shiny and reflective shield for him to look into so that he wouldn't have to look directly into Medusa's eyes when he killed her, because then he would turn into stone. Apparently, if you look at her through a mirror, it doesn't do it. And so, get this, he flies to the land of the Hyperboreans, where Medusa is, supposedly, and there he finds the 3 Gorgon sisters sleeping, which was, you know, kind of awfully convenient, don't you think? He was able to use his mirrored shield and managed to cut off Medusa's head in one blow. And from her severed neck sprang her children, Pegasus, the winged horse, and the giant Chrysaor. And if you remember, Perseus was currently wearing an invisible helmet, so when Medusa's 2 immortal sisters woke up and pursued her murderer with the fury of 1,000 suns, the hero Perseus escaped and put Medusa's head in his wallet, which I think was more of a sack than an actual, like, modern wallet, but they called it a wallet. And yeah, because he was invisible with his magic helmet and also had flying winged sandals, he got out of there unscathed. Honestly, that was a little too easy. Upon hearing the cries of the remaining Gorgon sisters, the goddess Athena was actually inspired to invent the flute to mimic them, to mimic their cries, which is so fucking mean. Oh my god, Athena was a little bitch. So Perseus is just like floating through the sky, and on the coast of Philistia, he saw this beautiful naked woman chained to a rock. This was the princess Andromeda, who was waiting to be executed by a horrible sea monster because her stupid mom said that Andromeda was prettier than the Nereids, the sea nymphs, and well, Poseidon got mad. I just learned of the word hubris, which means excessive pride or self-confidence, and this behavior got a lot of people in trouble in a lot of Greek myths. I feel like the gods who get mad upon being compared to humans are just really insecure. Also, it's always people's moms fucking shit up, like when that one queen said her daughter was prettier than Aphrodite, and then friggin' Aphrodite infected the girl with an incestuous love for her father. So upon seeing the gorgeous Princess Andromeda and her naked body, Perseus was like, OMG, I'm in love. So he arranged with her parents that if he could rescue her, he could have her as his wife. And so they were like, okay. And when the sea monster appeared, Perseus chopped its head off and freed Andromeda. And of course her parents went back on their word because she was a princess and she was already promised to some king or whoever else, and Perseus was just some nobody, so they were like, no, we're not gonna let you marry her. And they sent a bunch of their guards after him. My question is, why were there so many people waiting for Andromeda to be executed by the sea monster? Like, were they just standing there to watch the show? Like, I don't understand. Poor girl was naked too. But anyway, they sent their people to attack him, so he pulled out the Medusa head and transformed everybody into stone. And then Perseus and Andromeda got married. So I guess she didn't really mind that much that he turned her parents into stone. Guess they were kind of jerks. So he and Andromeda went back to his home, the island where he grew up, only to find that his mother Danae had fled to a temple for refuge from King Polydectes. So Perseus went to the banquet hall where King Polydectes was and turned everybody there into stone. And then he gave the head to Athena so that she could wear it on her breastplate. Poor Medusa, slain only to find her head on the breastplate of the very goddess who ruined her life. She deserves so much better. Apparently, Medusa's face is kind of like the evil eye, something that you wear to ward off other sources of evil. Perseus gave back the magic sandals, the wallet and helmet to the Stygian nymphs, and he made Dictys the new king of the island. And he set sail for his grandfather's kingdom of Argos, taking his mother and his wife. He was hoping to reconcile with his grandfather, the very one who sent him and his mother out to sea in a floating chest. But the king no longer ruled there, for he fled upon learning that Perseus had become a great hero. So he was scared. Honestly, to me, Perseus doesn't sound like that much of a hero. He just sounds like a guy who got lucky a billion times. Everything he's done so far has been for selfish reasons, and everything has worked out for him, somehow. Anyway, obviously, he didn't find Chryseus. Eventually, he learned that the king of Larissa was going to hold an athletic competition. So he was like, okay, sounds fun. Might as well go. And during the discus throwing competition, Perseus's discus That's a bit of a tongue twister. Perseus's discus was caught by the wind, which diverted it into the crowd, where it killed an old man. And of course, this old man was his grandfather, King Acrisius. And thus, the prophecy from years before that King Acrisius' grandson would kill him was fulfilled. And eventually Perseus became a king, and he, recaptured lost territories, strengthened his city, knocked up Andromeda a bunch of times, and lived happily ever after, essentially. Honestly, I really, really like this story. I just can't get behind Perseus being a great hero. I can't get over poor Medusa. It's kind of funny how everything just fell into place for Perseus. It's just almost too easy for him. Like, he has that invisibility helmet, those flying sandals, runs into this naked, beautiful woman that actually wants to be with him. He is a bit of a Mary Sue, but a guy version. I actually find it quite comical and quite amusing. But, it has that fantastical, fairy tale vibe, which I really like. Oh, and they all lived happily ever after, that kind of vibe. Whether or not he deserves that is, a different question, but, he's not a bad guy, he just got lucky a billion times and for no reason. Anyway, that's all for today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. I know I really enjoyed doing research for this episode because I grew up reading the Percy Jackson books and a lot of Rick Riordan, so it's definitely cool seeing the original inspiration for all of that. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!